Why? I am sorry. Maybe it's because I grinded away with these rookies for God knows how long. I mean, how long were we putting out rookie content? We started the rookies back in January, covered them pretty much every single day leading up to the NFL draft. Of course, we talked about them for the first 1 to 2 weeks after the draft, but since then, I've been quiet. We really haven't put out much rookie content. Of course, all our rookie rankings have been over there on Locals, but there have been updates. There have been different things developing across the NFL, and I think that we should dive back into these rookies, revisit where we ranked them before, and see how these guys are going to move. So we are going to hop into a 2022 Dynasty rookie mock draft. Of course, this is after all those updates. This is after we've had some news. Thank you so much for coming out to the live stream. Thank you for checking out the video. Of course, if you have not done so already, fix your life. Please go down there, drop a like on the live stream, subscribe to the channel if you are not already and you play Dynasty Fantasy Football. That should be it. Let's go ahead. Let's start this draft. I don't expect anything to change at the 101. We should see Breece Hall here. And the reason I took the 105 is, hell, I want to have the easiest job ever. I want to be able to just say, you know what? You take Breece Hall, you take Drake London, you take Kenneth Walker, you take Garrett Wilson. Just leave me with one of those top 5 players. I do think that there's that teardrop at 5. Okay, so you have a Breece Hall, Drake London off the board here with the first 2 picks. Okay, so a dog coming out says, are we doing any puppy drafts after this? Maybe we will see. I want to stick it. We are going to get a couple of these Dynasty rookie drafts going. Definitely. Okay, so we are on the clock. We are going to go ahead and take Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson was a player that I refused to move down our rankings after the NFL draft immediately. We said, yes, Treylon Burks lands in a much better spot, but I was hesitant. I said 9 times out of 10, if we were moving a wide receiver ranking based on landing spot, we're probably doing a pretty bad job, especially when Garrett Wilson goes in the top 10 picks. Treylon Burks does fall to be like the wide receiver 5 or 6 in the NFL draft. But since we've had more time to let things sink in, we've had more time to look at Zach Wilson and the lack of efficiency that he showed his rookie season and how that translates to his projected play going forward. I personally have moved Treylon Burks over Garrett Wilson. I agree that I think you should be going London at the 102, Burks at the 103. I still probably prefer Garrett Wilson over Kenneth Walker. I don't think Kenneth Walker is that special of a prospect. So I probably would take Garrett Wilson at the 104, Kenneth Walker at the 105, but it's up to you. And then here at 6, I think you could go so many different ways. Personally, I'm going to have a tier of 3 players. I'm going to have it as Kenny Pickett, Chris Olave, and Jameson Williams, whatever order that you want. I personally prefer to go Chris Olave there at 6, but if you wanted to go Kenny Pickett, I'm not going to fight you. I understand why you would want to do such a thing. Okay, George Pickens at the 201. Malik Willis at the 202. Okay, this looks very standard so far. I know in some drafts you probably have the running backs getting pushed up a little bit further than this. We have a Damien Pierce at the 203. David Bell at the 204. Okay, so if I go ahead and if I pull up my rookie rankings, a lot of these guys are already off. I don't even know if I'll have time to pull up these rookie rankings for us to look at. So we're probably just going to be going off based on what our gut is. And I think Rashad White is honestly the pick here. I mean, if you're looking at Rashad White, I don't even want to talk about the fact that Leonard Fournette, based on the pictures that came out yesterday, not looking like he's in the best shape. Okay. Let's not dive into that. Instead, we can look at Rashad White, who I do have ranked as our 15th player overall in these rankings, and say he was the best pass-catching running back in this draft class. He lands in an offense that we know is going to be throwing the ball consistently. He lands in an offense that we know is going to be putting up a ridiculous amount of points. So let's go ahead. We will take Rashad White here at the 205. Let's see what happens after. What I'm interested to know is how far Desmond Ritter ends up making it. Because I think that in this draft, in these mock drafts, people are going to understand that those quarterbacks that did not go round 1, their historical hit rates are so damn low that you should be pushing them down your draft boards. But usually, if you were just in a regular Dynasty Fantasy Football League, I do think you would see guys like Desmond Ritter, maybe even a Matt Corral pushed up here, even though they don't deserve it. Okay, so Mechie goes to the 208. Okay, so what else is happening. And we're going to go 4 rounds deep here. So I really hope that this draft is going to be able to help some people out. And we're going to go with another one after this as well. If you missed getting into this first draft, you should have a shot to get in another one. Maybe we get 2 or 3 of these going. Trey McBride at the 2 and 9. I really like the McBride selection. I mean, I don't want to say ranking him aggressively. I have Trey McBride ranked as our 19th player off the board, so we have him at the 207. I think this is a tight end that was a great prospect coming out, and it's not necessarily so much that, I think McBride's going to be the next Pat Frymuth. It's like a lot of these players in this range, they do look pretty gross, if we're going to be completely honest. Okay. So let's go through and honestly, I need to update our rankings with Damien Pierce and Isaiah Spiller. I think that just based off of the flip potential you could have for them after their first 2 seasons, I think we do have to move them up a little bit. Okay, so we have a little bit of a wide receiver run happening here at the end of the second round. And there's one name that I'm actually 2 names I would really like making it back to us at the 305. I think we're definitely going to get a player that we are fine with. It just depends on who that guy is. Matt Corral finally goes off the board at the 301. Tyler Algiere going at the 302. That was one of the names that I was hoping was going to make it to us in the middle of the third. It doesn't happen. It is what it is. We got to move on. There are 2 more players I like. 2 more players I like. Please do not take them from us. Do not take them from us. Tyrion Davis-Price goes 303. I love me some Tyrion Davis-Price. If you're looking at it, Taekwon Thornton goes. Okay, we are going to end up getting Brian Robinson, a top 100 draft pick that did it all at Alabama. Nothing too special about him, but let's go back to Tyrion Davis-Price. I actually just wrote up his chapter for our 2022 draft guide, and one thing that came across, I don't want to say surprising, because obviously everybody always talks about Kyle Shanahan. You can never predict who his starting running back is going to be. Well, since Kyle Shanahan has become a head coach in the NFL, let's go through and let's look at his top running backs by year. I think you will be surprised to see this, but in 2017, Carlos Hyde. In 2018, Matt Breida. 2019, Tevin Coleman. 2020, Jeff Wilson. 2021, Elijah Mitchell. You have yet to have a running back with Kyle Shanahan as the head coach of the 49ers who has successfully repeated as the lead running back in that offense. I know it's gross, but it's at least something that's worth bringing up. Okay, so let's prepare for our next pick here. There are not too many names I want to get excited for. Kyron Williams goes to the 401. Darrell Henderson is not under contract for the Los Angeles Chargers next year, so maybe you use that as a selling point, saying, oh, okay, well, Kyron Williams could potentially be the running back 2 in Los Angeles next season. We know that he does have a receiving upside for this. Justin Ross at the 402. There's one name that I would really like bringing in. Come on, have him fall. Have him fall. Get him down here for us. Zachary sniped us earlier on Tyrion Davis-Price. Maybe he ends up sniping us again. Got it. What I need to do is, I'm used to drafting on Underdog. Like, the Underdog timer's 30 seconds long. Why did we make this a 60-second timer? The next, we will get another draft going after this one, but I'm going to fix it so it's a 30-second timer so we aren't sitting here for an entire minute for these picks to go off the board. Pierre Strong ends up going at the 403. One more pick until we are up. Let's get our guy. I will say, I'm fine with either 2 names here. Greg Dulcich. I butchered it. I understand. But Sam Howell goes. Sam Howell would have been the other player. With Albert O, I understand. Albert O is most likely the starting tight end in Denver. I understand that Albert O has a flash through the first 2 years of his NFL career. He's a monster. Like, if you look at his size, if you look at his athleticism, But the 405, you actually had a very nice receiving role at UCLA. You get the draft capital as well. I'll say draft capital doesn't matter as much for the tight end position, which is why I'm willing to take him here in the 4th round. And it's not the worst landing spot. While Alberto has flashed, it's not like Alberto has guaranteed himself that he is the tight end 1 in this offense. Okay. So Danny Gray goes to the 408, a field stretching wide receiver for the San Francisco 49ers. Some long shots on some Kansas City Chiefs running backs. I mean, if you're looking at the Chiefs depth chart right now, you have no idea who it's going to end up being. I mean, Derek Gore right now is sitting as the running back 3. Jerome Ford at the 410. It does look bad now that Dearness Johnson doesn't get attended with another team, so he's going to be going back to Cleveland. Calvin Austin at the 411. There's just nothing exciting here at the end of the 4th round. Like, I wish I could come through and go, oh, great pick. There's nothing to get excited about. A lot of these guys, you don't even know if they're actually going to make an NFL roster. And you should know that if you're looking at someone in the 4th, never in a trade be unwilling to move that pick to bring in another option. If you think that you're going to get someone potentially, just say a slight upgrade, like if you want to go through and if you want to trade Tyreek Hill for Stephon Diggs, like you're saying, okay, can I give you Tyreek Hill and a 3rd for Stephon Diggs? And they go, okay, give me your 4th and 5th. You do it in a heartbeat. You don't even think about it. Those 4th and 5th round picks, very unlikely to ever do anything. So let me go through. Let me set up this next draft. I really want to set this up with a 30-second timer so we don't have to deal with sitting on the clock that long. And I'm going to send this out yet again over there on Local. So if you don't know, if you go into the description of the video, you can find a link to our Locals community. I'm sending this out as a free post. We're going to continue to do this throughout the offseason. There's free content on Locals. There's going to be paid content as well. But you can join the flock and you can check out all our free stuff there. I do think you have to create an account probably with an email, but you don't need a credit card or anything. Let me just send out this sleeper invite. Okay. Just sent that out. And I think we're going to do some cool Locals giveaways as well. If we're going to be looking at like flock hats and stuff that we can ship out. And that will be for everybody, not just the paid people. It'll be for people a part of the free version as well. Okay, we just sent that link. Oh crap, we need to get a team ASAP. Let's grab the 106. We took the 105 in the last draft. I mean, with that 105 pick, you are a lot more comfortable based on how the tiers break down. At the 106, we are going to be in an awkward spot in that, hell, we do have to put a stamp on our guy. I'm fine with it, though. We are going to reach on someone. I know most people aren't going to have Chris Olave at the 106, but I'm fine going through and taking him. If you look at Chris Olave and the production that he put up at Ohio State, specifically in 2020, Chris Olave was a dominant wide receiver. He averaged almost 40% of this team's receiving production on a per-game basis with Garrett Wilson, Jameson Williams, and Jackson Smith-Njigba all on the same team. So, actually, I guess Chris Olave is sitting here at the top of ADP as well. Where are the people in the comment section that tell me that Jameson Williams is a top 5 pick in these drafts? Please do not consider taking Jameson Williams in the top 5. Maybe you want to make the argument that he will be a better real life NFL wide receiver than Chris Olave. He'll be a better real life NFL wide receiver than Garrett Wilson. If you want to make that argument, sure, you do you. Based on his ability to stretch NFL defenses, take safety attention away, and increase the overall efficiency of the Detroit Lions offense. If you want to make that argument, hell, I'm fine with it. And I'm fine with him going at the 109 as well to Noah. But for you to argue that he is going to command more volume than Chris Olave, that he's going to be able to command more volume than Garrett Wilson, Treylon Burks, I think that's ludicrous based on what we saw in college. And also, even if he were, the efficiency inherently is going to be down getting targets from Jared Goff. And you have the target competition with Amon-Ra St. Brown, with TJ Hawkinson, with DeAndre Swift, with DJ Chark. He's going to miss the beginning of the season with the injury. Like, this is where Jameson Williams should go, the 109. That's where we have him ranked. Actually, we may have him ranked at the 108. I'm just tired of reading comment section of people telling me that he needs to be a top 5 pick. Okay. Looks like I need to go through and, dear God, ban some people. We have some sex bots out in the chat yet again tonight. Like I told y'all, it's a party out here. We got some naked ladies in the chat, some sex bots coming through. will change his chat to subscriber only. Hopefully, they're not subscribed to the channel. We will see. But Malik Willis goes to the 205. So Malik Willis does fall here a little bit. Usually when you're looking at those quarterbacks that go in round 3 of the NFL draft, they're just, oh crap, I did not even know we were on the clock. Oh, panic. David Bell. Okay, thank God. Who? I did not even know we were on the clock. I was about to dive into Malik Willis here. We can't talk about David Bell real quick. David Bell, situation may not be great this upcoming season. We don't know how many games Deshaun Watson's going to miss, but there is that outside chance that, hell, Amari Cooper's gone next year. David Bell's the wide receiver 1 in a Deshaun Watson-led offense because Deshaun Watson's not missing time in 2023. If Deshaun Watson is suspended for this entire season and some of next year, which is not happening, but if that somehow, some way were to be the case, it would be the all-time worst move in NFL history, not even remotely close, for the Browns owner to go out of his way for them to trade 3 first-round picks for Deshaun Watson, for them to give Deshaun Watson the most guaranteed money in the NFL history. Like, it's not happening. Deshaun Watson will 100% be the quarterback there in 2023. Probably won't miss the entire season this year as well. And David Bell could potentially be the wide receiver 1 there, which is definitely exciting. Okay. So Tyler Algiere goes at the end of the second. I think very similar to where he went in the last draft. At the last draft, I think he went at the 301. I'd be fine if you want to go with him or Jalen Tolbert. I'd imagine Tolbert's probably the guy Zachary takes here. He goes Matt Corral. Okay, I can't fault him at all, man. I think if you look at our rankings, we have Matt Corral ranked right there as well. I mean, with Matt Corral, what I will say is this is a quarterback that has some rushing upside. What you're worried about is you're worried about them trading for Baker Mayfield, them trading for Jimmy Garoppolo, but who knows? Who knows if that could actually happen? Okay, Brian Robinson goes at pick, I believe that is 27. Tyrion Davis-Price goes after Jalen Tolbert. We almost got Jalen Tolbert coming in. Now that he doesn't, we're going to go with the wide receiver that, very similar to what we were speaking on with Jameson Williams, his elite speed and deep threat ability may be able to help an NFL offense. He's not going to be a great option in fantasy. We will take Taekwon Thornton. Now, he's a second-round NFL draft pick, but just like, Dwayne Eskridge last year, just like Tutu Atwell, the only reason he went in round 2 was his 40 time. That's the only reason. His speed and speed alone. So I don't want to act like, oh yeah, we're getting Taekwon Thornton, who went after Jalen Tolbert in the NFL draft, who went after John Mechie. Who went before those players, before John Mechie, before David Bell. That doesn't necessarily matter if we're talking fantasy football, because I don't think Thornton is going to be able to command volume, but I think he does have a very high floor. And if you were to see a couple of random spike weeks because of the speed, you could go through and you could look to flip Thornton for an upgrade. Like if we're talking those underdog drafts that are best ball, I've been taking him a lot in the 18th round because I think you could see some random spike weeks, because I think he could get on the field with the New England Patriots up until that draft pick being the slowest offense in the NFL. The slowest offense in the NFL. Like they desperately need his speed. Now, Hassan Haskins goes here. Noah, my man, I got to give you some crap. I'm fine with the Jameson Williams pick at the 109. I actually had Jameson Williams ranked before Sky Moore, but to take Keonta Ingram at the 309 over Hassan Haskins, who gets the NFL draft capital, is the clear number 2 on that depth chart behind Derrick Henry. It's hard for me because even if James Conner were to go down, I don't think Keonta Ingram steps into really any role whatsoever. Maybe he's split in the backfield with Darrell Williams. We talked about this at the beginning. I'm not even the beginning of the offseason, but remember after the NFL draft when everybody was losing their minds and everybody's favorite sleeper, like it would just be one YouTube channel would post the video on Monday. The next YouTube channel would post the video on Tuesday. On Wednesday, there was another video. Everybody's favorite sleeper was Keonta Ingram. We've been saying the man's bad. We've been saying he's a player you should avoid for I don't know how long now. Yeah, it's a good situation, but there's nothing special about his profile. Okay, Snoop Connor goes at the 405. Do we just go Pierre Strong? Very similar to what we were talking about in San Francisco. We have no idea who it ever is going to be at the running back position for the New England Patriots. Pierre Strong is a complete shot in the dark here. What I will say is Damien Harris isn't under contract next year. Obviously, James White's not going to be with the team in 2023. James White will be in a senior citizen home instead. So the depth chart could clear out in 2023 for Pierre Strong. Just taking a shot, a player that is athletic at the 406. Okay, Tyler Batty at the 408. Fizzle Dallas says, a flock inspired me to go trade crazy for those 2023 first. My man, I'm happy to hear you went crazy for those picks. Hopefully you did it at a decent price. Let me see how long we've been live. Maybe we can get another draft going after this one. Let me know in the chat, would y'all want another draft after this? How about this? If this live stream gets 100 likes, that's 30 more likes in the stream, we will get another draft. I think that's an easy way for us to, A, get helped out in the algorithm by y'all, and B, to see if y'all are actually enjoying this. Okay, so let me flip this over and let me know if there have been any picks in this draft that you feel like are just completely off the mark, whether it was the first draft or the second draft. Let me know in the live chat or in the comment section if you're watching this as a video later on. But it looks like these likes are running up real quick. It looks like people want to get another draft going. Okay, so let me set up this next draft. Like I said, they're all going to be sent out on Locals. I'm not going to make it behind the paywall on Locals or anything. You can get them for free. But I do want to make sure that we are continuing to build that Locals community so y'all can just continue to bounce ideas off of each other. So you can find the link in the description of the video for Locals. Like I said, there is paid stuff there, like our rankings are there for that you could pay for, but there's also free stuff. Okay, so we just sent out that link for our next draft for people wanting to hop in. Slide over. We ended up grabbing the 108 here. Just mixing it up, trying to work our way down the draft board. Y'all know I am a horrible Dynasty fantasy football player. Y'all know I have no idea what I'm talking about with fantasy football. So usually I'm only picking at the 101, 102, 103. I've actually never had a team make it to the fantasy football playoffs. And I've played in like over 1,000 Dynasty leagues, over 1,000 redraft leagues. One of these days I'm going to make it to the playoffs. And one of these days I'll actually be able to pick after the 106. But this is going to be make-believe. This is going to be pretend. Like, what happened if somehow I was a good fantasy football player and we got the 108, we got bounced from the first round? We'll test it out and see if we're to be fine. Okay. So, Breece Hall, Kenneth Walker goes to the 102. I know Kenneth Walker has been sliding up rookie draft boards. I just can't get behind it when we're looking at him as a running back that's not catching passes. Like, what's really funny is we know with running backs, they're supposed to be more productive than receivers early on in their careers. However, if you look at Kenneth Walker versus Drake London on Underdog, redraft real money fantasy football leagues, you are seeing, okay, we're going to go James Williams. I know we talked crap about James Williams for I don't know how long, but that's if you're taking top 5. But anyway, we've seen Drake London, Treylon Burks going like 3 or 4 rounds before Kenneth Walker. Now, Kenneth Walker in redraft is one of my most drafted players, but in Dynasty, it's difficult to get there when he's being valued ahead of Drake London already. And Drake London's a wide receiver that checks every single box. Okay, so we have a little bit of a wide receiver run happening here. I'm surprised to see Watson falling this far. Like, Watson had a better landing spot than Sky Moore. I know Sky Moore was a better prospect coming into the draft. We have them in the same tier. I'm fine with people wanting to take Sky Moore over Christian Watson, especially if you look at the fact that Juju Smith-Schuster is not under contract in 2023. Travis Kelce will be 34 years old in 2023. And also, the Green Bay Packers won't have Aaron Rodgers as long as Patrick Mahomes. Also, the Green Bay Packers don't push the pace of play. I understand all that. But it seems like Christian Watson's just a massive value in these drafts, regardless if you're playing in redraft or dynasty. Okay. So Malik Willis goes to the 202. Is this team really on auto draft freaking 2 rounds? And are you kidding me? You kidding me? There are so many people that want to be in this mock draft, and you come out here and start auto drafting. Okay, they're back. They're back. I'm sorry for being rude. Just thought you left us for good. Now, I'm happy that you end up getting Malik Willis, hopefully pushing some value down the board to us. I don't want to queue anybody up because I just don't want people to know who we are wanting to draft. Isaiah Spiller, Damien Pierce. I would prefer Damien Pierce over Isaiah Spiller, even though Spiller is obviously in a better offense. Damien Pierce has an easier path to touches right away. Desmond Ritter goes to the 205. I would have taken Desmond Ritter if he would have made it to us to the 208. Very similar to what we were talking about with Willis. Unlikely that he ever gets a massive role, but what you could see with Desmond Ritter is if he starts for 4 weeks, He would have rushing upside in that case, and maybe you can flip him. Okay, so we're going to go through. We're going to do exactly what we did in the last draft. We're going to take David Bell. I mean, I love David Bell. This was literally a wide receiver that, if y'all remember at the beginning of the offseason, people were hyping David Bell up over Chris Olave. That was happening. That was a popular take that people preferred David Bell over Chris. Before the NFL draft, I was one of the biggest David Bell haters on the face of the earth. But since then, which everybody knew David Bell was going to be slow. Everybody knew he was a slot wide receiver. That was already known. He goes from being a mid first round pick to us getting him at the 208. Hell yeah. Sign me up for David Bell there. Especially it's a great situation. Fallon, he says, are we hopping on an underdog draft after this? I'm sorry, guys. I'm probably not going to be able to do an underdog draft after this just because if I title this as a 2022 Dynasty Rookie mock draft and then I go through and get a redraft going, people are going to come into the live stream. They are going to be pissed. But if y'all want to get in real money fantasy football drafts with us, go to the link in the description. Underdog Fantasy, real money fantasy drafts. We do them every single day on the live stream. And if you deposit, use promo code FLOCK, they'll match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to $200. Just a ton of fun. You can find the link in the description. And use promo code FLOCK. You also get our rankings, Dynasty rankings, a bunch of crap like that. Okay, so let's see where we're going to be at the third. Tyrion Davis-Price continues to be a very appealing player in this range. He goes at the 304. Like, the gap between Tyrion Davis-Price and Damien Pierce for me isn't that large. The fact that you're getting him a full round after, I'm all in with. Taekwon Thornton goes at the 305. Okay, we took him at the 306 in the last draft. As I said, just a player that you know is going to be on the field. He is going to be running routes given his speed, and that's something that offense really needs. No, out of Baylor, he never profiled to be someone that's going to see an elite level target share, but it is what it is. JD goes crazy, says, that was my bad on the auto, my phone mess. All good, my man. I'm sorry for being an ass. I thought you just completely bounced from the draft. Okay, so Hassan Haskins goes to 306. Hassan Haskins would have been a player I would have considered drafting. Do we go Shakir? We're going to take Khalil Shakir. It's a very boring pick. The odds that it ever pans out to be anything, minimal. Minimal to say the least. But he was a hyper-productive wide receiver at a small school, and he's going to a Buffalo Bills team that we know will be top 5 in the NFL in overall passing volume. And this is also a team that runs a ton of 4 wide receiver sets. Now, maybe that changes this upcoming season whenever they miss out on both Emmanuel Sanders as well as Cole Beasley, and also they bring in O.J. Howard. Trust me, I love me some O.J. Howard. So maybe they stop running as many 4 wide receiver sets. They turn a little more traditional with their actual offense. But hell, if they go right back to the 4 wide receiver set, I think Shakir can get on the field if he can jump over Isaiah McKenzie. And that's entirely possible. Okay, so Delaney Woods goes at the 310. Woods is a tight end that I know most people would prefer. And if we clarified that this was the tight end premium format, I would be fine with it. Let me know, do y'all think we are crazy to take Shakir over Justin Ross? Like Justin Ross, I've talked about him for so long now. A wide receiver that I loved before the NFL draft. We were saying, okay, if he goes round 3 to the Green Bay Packers, Justin Ross is a first-round rookie pick. But the one thing we didn't know was the neck injury. If y'all remember Justin Ross with that neck injury, I'll say at the 312, completely fine with the investment. If you're waiting until the very end of the 3rd or the 4th round, I'm fine drafting Justin Ross. I know we have screamed at people for talking about taking Justin Ross in the 2nd round after the NFL draft, even with the great landing spot and the hype. But whenever the initial report of the neck injury came out, you didn't know if Justin Ross was ever going to play football again. That was a real concern. So what we were saying is let's let the NFL team doctors evaluate him. If he goes in the top 100 draft picks, we know that we don't have to be that concerned about the neck, but very similar to a wide receiver out of Oklahoma State last year coming out. We were like, okay, well, if he falls that far in the draft, we probably just need to be out on Tylan Wallace. I think the same thing here with Justin Ross. Like Velus Jones is a horrible prospect. Horrible prospect. Very similar to Thornton, actually a worse version of Taekwon Thornton. Only got drafted in the 2nd round because of his speed and how he can stretch the field to take attention away from guys like Darnell Mooney, Cole Kmet, David Montgomery. But still, a 2nd round NFL draft pick that you know is at least going to have a spot on the roster. Actually, maybe we'd still prefer Justin Ross. I think you can have an argument for either or. Okay, so you have someone coming out and taking Dicker. Is this Cameron Dicker? I did not even know Cameron Dicker. We'll talk about that in just 1 second. Let's go through and who gives a crap? Yeah, let's talk about Cameron Dicker. Cameron Dicker was the Texas kicker my entire time that I was at the University of Texas. A legend in Austin. I did not even know he got drafted to the NFL. How did I miss that? Thank you for drafting him. Just show me that. Very interesting. Shiny Boy says Willis will be forced into opportunity while others succeed or bust quickly. He won't succeed. He won't. Like, if we're going to be realistic, even if he's a good NFL wide receiver, he won't be a good fantasy wide receiver. He's never going to get a ton of volume. Okay, so if this was a final draft board, please let me know what y'all thought in the comment section of these drafts. Let me know if y'all see any clear trends or any players do you think are going under or overvalued. I'll send out the link real quick if anybody wants to join our locals community. Like I said, bunch of free stuff. There is paid stuff there. Like if you want our rankings, that is going to be paid, but there's free stuff as well. Like the links to join these live drafts whenever we do this. If I can find this locals link, you know what? Why don't I just literally copy and paste this URL. Gino says Mason Dicker went undrafted this year. Sad day. Sad day. Well, thank you, of course, for being a part of the flock, coming out to the live stream. I truly do appreciate you. I hope you have a great day and hope we get to see you with the video tomorrow.